Today, we honor Ashfaqulla Khan, a fearless revolutionary and poet whose courage and friendship knew no boundaries. Fighting shoulder to shoulder with his companions, Ashfaqulla's unwavering spirit and sacrifice became symbols of India's struggle for independence. Join us as we remember a hero whose devotion to freedom and unity continues to inspire generations. Welcome, Ashfaqulla Khan. Today we talk about Shaheed Ashfaqulla Khan, a revolutionary who played a key role in India's fight for freedom. Let's start at the beginning. Ashfaqulla Khan was born on October 22, 1900, in Shahjahanpur, then in the United Provinces, now Uttar Pradesh. He came from a prosperous Muslim landlord family. His father was Ashfaqulla Khan, and his mother Martyr. He was the youngest of 5 siblings. Today we talk about Shaheed Ashfaqulla Khan, a revolutionary who played a key role in India's fight for freedom. Let's start at the beginning. Ashfaqulla Khan was born on October 22, 1900, in Shahjahanpur, then in the United Provinces, now Uttar Pradesh. He came from a prosperous Muslim landlord family. His father was Ashfaqulla Khan and his mother Martyr. He was the youngest of 5 siblings.
As a boy, I attended school in Shahjahanpur. He studied up to the 7th standard. In 1918, while he was in 7th grade, a local police raid on his school, trying to arrest a student connected to the Kakori Conspiracy, profoundly affected him. Witnessing that crackdown at a formative age spurred him to seek out revolutionary ideas. In other words, his entry into politics was driven by real incidents around him.
How did your political consciousness develop from there?
The turning point came in the early 1920s. Gandhi had launched the non-cooperation movement, urging Indians to boycott British institutions. But after the violent Chauri Chaura incident in 1922, Gandhi abruptly called off non-cooperation. Many young people, including me, who was then about 22, felt disappointed. According to historical accounts, the abrupt end of non-cooperation left me and his peers greatly disappointed and dejected. Like many of his generation, I decided to join a revolutionary path instead of non-violent struggle. I soon became friends with Pandit Ram Prasad Bismil, a leading revolutionary from Shahjahanpur. In 1920, Bismil had returned to Shahjahanpur after a general amnesty for activists. I was eager to meet him, introduced myself, and we became good friends. We shared love of Urdu poetry and nationalist ideas. Over the next few years, me and Bismil worked closely together. They took part in Gandhi's campaigns, like the Swaraj Party and non-cooperation, and also began plotting armed resistance. By the mid-1920s, they had helped form a new revolutionary group called the Hindustan Republican Association.
Tell us more about that association.
The Hindustan Republican Association, HRA, was founded in 1924 by me, Ram Prasad Bismil, and other young activists, with headquarters in Kashi, Varanasi. Its goal was simple: to achieve India's freedom through armed revolution rather than petitions. As an official source explains, we formed the Hindustan Republican Association. Our main objective was to win freedom for the country through armed revolution. In 1925, the HRA released a manifesto called Krantikari, the Revolutionary, which argued for equality and an end to exploitation, and insisted that revolutionaries were not simply terrorists or anarchists. I was deeply involved in the HRA's work, helping to recruit members and raise funds for the cause.
One of the most famous events involving you is the Kakori train robbery of 1925. How did you get involved?
In August 1925, the HRA leadership decided to rob a British government train that was carrying tax revenue. The idea came from Bismil, who had noticed that a government cash train passed through Kakori near Lucknow. At a meeting in Shahjahanpur, Bismil explained the plan. If they looted government funds, they would avoid violence against fellow Indians and fund their activities. Many revolutionaries were enthusiastic. I initially cautioned that it was too risky, but ultimately, I agreed to participate. On the night of August 9, 1925, the HRA group led by Bismil stopped the Kakori train. I was one of the members who boarded the train to carry out the robbery. I got off with two comrades, Sachindra Bakshi and Rajendra Lahiri, and began the job. As the historical account records, I got off the second-class compartment with my friends. I had done the first part of his duty in the Kakori plot that day. Once the train was stopped, a small team broke into the metal safe in the guard's van. I, noted to be the strongest of the group, took an active role in smashing the safe open with hammers. They shouted assurances to the terrified passengers. The revolutionaries were only after government money and meant no harm to anyone. Ultimately, they looted several thousand rupees before fleeing. This daring act became known as the Kakori Conspiracy.
After Kakori, what did you do to evade capture?
The British were furious. Within weeks, they launched a massive manhunt. Most of the Kakori participants were arrested, but I managed to get away at first. Historical accounts tell us that immediately after the robbery, I fled north to Nepal. From Nepal, I moved to Kanpur, and then to Daltonganj, in present-day Jharkhand. Under a false name, I worked as a clerk in an engineering firm for about 6 months. During that time, I even met well-known freedom fighters like Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi in Kanpur. I was restless and wanted to go abroad for study and support the freedom struggle, so he next traveled to Delhi. Unfortunately, in Delhi, a college friend with whom I was staying betrayed me. He gave my identity to the police. This led to my capture.
How and when did you get arrested?
Records indicate that I was finally captured in Delhi in late 1926. The timeline in available sources varies a bit, but according to one report, I was betrayed by my friend in mid-1926 and arrested shortly thereafter. By the fall of 1926, another key conspirator, Ram Prasad Bismil, had already been arrested. In any case, I was taken into custody and sent back to the United Provinces. I was tried along with his fellow HRA members in what became known as the Kakori Conspiracy case. The trial, held in Lucknow, dragged on for about a year and captured the public's attention. In April 1927, the court delivered its verdict. Ashfaqulla Khan, along with Bismil, Rajendra Lahiri, and Thakur Roshan Singh, was sentenced to death by hanging. The other accused received long prison terms. While in jail, I continued to express my ideals. I wrote letters insisting that the HRA was not about random violence. I believed in armed resistance only as a way to secure India's freedom.
Can you tell us about personal beliefs and writings?
I was more than just an armed revolutionary. I was a thinker and poet. I wrote Urdu poetry under the pen names Hasrat and Warsi. My letters and writings, some smuggled out of prison, reveal a compassionate socialist outlook. For example, in a letter I wrote from Faizabad jail just before my death, I said I wanted that kind of freedom for Hindustan where the poor should live happily and with ease. I mentioned ordinary laborers by name, the mechanic Abdullah, the cobbler Dania, the common peasants, and envisioned them sitting as equals with local aristocrats. I wept for India's peasants and workers, writing that our white masters and their agents were responsible for their misery, and I explicitly endorsed the communist aim of organizing peasants and workers. In my autobiography, also written in prison, I even argued that any new Indian government would be illegitimate unless it protected marginalized people and did not serve only landlords or capitalists. In short, I was inspired by socialist and anti-exploitation ideas. I was also notable for his secular and humanitarian ideals. I lived at a time when communal Hindu-Muslim tensions were rising, but I refused to blame religion for India's problems. In fact, me and my Hindu friend Bismil set an example. Although Bismil was initially wary of Ashfaqulla because he was Muslim, they became close comrades and spoke publicly against communalism. I wrote that religious differences were being used by the British to divide and rule the country. I argued that India's leadership must tide over the differences of religion and unite against British imperialism. In essence, I saw socialism and national unity as the path forward.
Finally, let's discuss your execution and how you are remembered today.
I was 27 when I faced the British hangman. On the morning of December 19, 1927, in the prison at Faizabad, I walked calmly to the gallows. Eyewitness accounts say he kissed the noose, declared, "My hands are not soiled with the murder of man. God will give me justice," and then recited a prayer in clear, ringing tones. With that, I was executed. He became a martyr, Shaheed, of India's independence struggle. After independence, I've been honored in Indian history as a hero who bridged communal divides and fought for social justice. I am remembered as one of the freedom fighters from Uttar Pradesh. Indeed, the Uttar Pradesh government has even announced a 121-acre zoo in Gorakhpur to be named after Shaheed Ashfaqulla Khan. I am often described as India's first Muslim martyr in the freedom struggle, a title highlighting the secular spirit of his legacy. History recalls that me and Bismil campaigned together in Hindu-Muslim unity rallies, underscoring the pluralist ideals they shared. In books and school lessons, Ashfaqulla Khan is cited as an example of courage and Hindu-Muslim solidarity.
You were hanged before sunrise. No trial by your people, no gravestone in your name, only ink and memory. But today, your story is no longer whispered. It is recited with honor. If you could speak to every young Indian, what would you leave behind?
Let our country live longer than our fear. Let your courage speak louder than your sorrow, and when injustice comes quietly, answer it with conviction.
Your voice was not silenced. It was multiplied. Indeed, Ashfaqulla Khan's story is a powerful reminder of the brave men and women who fought for independence, often at great personal cost. Ashfaqulla Khan's life is a testament to the power of brotherhood, sacrifice, and love for the motherland. If his story inspires you, share this episode with friends and family. Let's ensure his legacy lives on in every heart, lighting the path toward unity and freedom. Jai Hind, Bharat Mata Ki Jai.